Ahoy there! Welcome to the Sega Genesis port of Pirates Gold, developed and published by Microprose in 1993 as an improvement to the original Sid Meier's Pirates. For those of you unfamiliar with Pirates Gold, it simulates the life of a ship captain in the Spanish Main from the late 1500s to the early 1700s. Let me pause the game so I can focus on my words. The jaunty music there. You may choose to serve as a privateer for one of the in-game nations, or you may act as a pirate plague upon everyone, or you may sail peacefully as a trader. Along the way, you'll hopefully gain incalculable fame and riches. Longtime viewers of my channel may recall a one-shot video I did of this game back in February. This video, however, is the beginning of an official Let's Get On With It adventure, where I will undoubtedly bore you all to tears with my droning verbosity. On the bright side, I've just chugged my first sugary caffeinated beverage in 2 weeks, so I sure as hell won't be falling asleep at the wheel. Quick FYI, although the Genesis port lacks some of the PC's features, it suffers from fewer bugs and runs smoother in emulation. Besides, I'm very familiar with this version, having played it for countless hours as a child. Now, let's see if I remember my controls. Okay, good. Now, on the Start New Career screen, this is where we'll begin our game from, you'll see we have numerous options. First, we're allowed to select our historical period, the time in which the game will take place. Each period has a major impact upon your gaming experience, and there are some which are easier than others. In this series, we'll be playing in the first period, the Silver Empire, a very dangerous time for anyone not under the Spanish flag. Spain owned the Caribbean in 1560. The Dutch haven't yet begun their War of Independence. I think it's like the 80 Years' War, I think that's what it is, or the Dutch War of Independence. Yeah, that begins later on, like 1566, 1568. I don't know, not my strong suit. And both the English and French and the Spanish Main are, let's just say, not in a good position. In fact, the only non-Spanish port of significance at this time is the French port of Saint Augustine. Listen, it's not my fault. I didn't name the city. You know, the saint himself is like Augustine, but, you know, the city is Augustine. I didn't do it. It's the Floridians down there, that's what they tell me. Okay. But, St. Augustine will be useful for us, since in this game, I'm going to be French. Now, the English Seahawk technically has a stronger start. He has more men, more manpower, and he has a better title. I think he's like an English captain. And the Spanish Renegade obviously has the privilege of being Spanish. But the French Corsair starts at a convenient location, and France is already at war with Spain. You'll notice that the Dutch do not exist at this time because, well, at the time, Holland was under control, the Netherlands were under control of the Spanish. Yes! It makes historical sense! What the fuck? But you'll notice that in 1600 you can choose to be a Dutch trader, although there are no Dutch ports in the Spanish Main at that time. You'd have to make your own. So yes, Silver Empire, French Corsair, go! We'll get back to the family name in a bit. There are 4 difficulty levels in Pirates Gold, ranging from Apprentice, through Journeyman, and Adventurer, to Swashbuckler. As I am an old hand at this game, incredibly experienced, I will be playing on the hardest difficulty, Swashbuckler. This means that storms will be both dangerous and realistic, and there will be lots of people who are exceptionally good at sword combat, fencing rather, and they will be seeking to murder me. Everything will be going against me as a swashbuckler, but on the bright side, I will qualify myself for earning the most loot. I'm cool with that. There are, I believe, 5 different special abilities in this game. Starting off, fencing gauges, makes either you quicker at fencing, or slows your opponents down, or perhaps a combination of both. Essentially, you're better at fencing than you would be otherwise, and as you age, your fencing skills will noticeably not diminish as much because you possess a special ability skill at fencing. Navigation helps with sailing through waters. I believe you move quicker, and whenever you encounter storms, they will affect you less. Gunnery affects the accuracy of your cannons, and I also believe it affects your reload speed. I don't really use it though, so I'm not 100% sure. Wit and Charm totally affects how you deal with the ladies. Whenever I first started playing, that was actually my favorite one. I was a ladies' man as a child, what can I say? And Skill at Medicine reduces the impact that both age and wounds has upon your career, allowing you to survive longer as a pirate. Yes, as it turns out, a pirate's life is not actually that long. And there will come a point where you just can't get up anymore, and get on with it! So the two that in my opinion, are the strongest. It's tough between a skill at fencing and a skill at medicine. I am going to be picking skill at medicine. That way I will age less severely, hopefully have a longer career, and that will allow me to keep a decent fencing skill, because old age will not play such a... Yes, it will not have such an impact. Okay? Okay. Family name. The family name shall be a favorite of mine, Reaper. Yes. It's not exactly French, I don't think, but, whatever. I don't feel like thinking of a French family name. I suppose I could do Drake. But he's English, Grimith. No, he's not. If you didn't watch SKS's colonization series, you wouldn't know. Francis Drake is actually in the service of the French. Alright, everything looks good there. I think it's time for us to set off for adventure. The 10 Great Pirate Quests. Can you complete the 10 pirate quests and become the greatest pirate who ever lived? Maybe. Your story begins. Ellipses. During a voyage to the Spanish Main, your ship is boarded by a Spanish galleon. Foreign scum aren't wanted here, the leader growls, drawing his sword. These, pompous... These fucking Spanish leaders look so damn absurd. I'm just saying. Look at that man. Are you sure you can fence? Look at those... Stop blinking at me. It looks weird. Alright, I got a longsword. Not a bad starting weapon. Hut. Alright, there are 3 different sword weapons in this game. The rapier, the longsword, and cutlass. The rapier is my favorite. Possessing good reach, the best speed of the 3, although it does the least damage. I think it also has the longest reach. Longsword is a mix between the rapier and the third weapon, the cutlass. Shortest, slowest range weapon, but it deals the most damage. It was a favorite of warriors and other folks who weren't really skilled at swordplay, because although it's not really, it's not a quick weapon, it's cumbersome, but it can deal a lot of damage upon contact, whereas the rapier is more along the lines of your fancy showman swashbuckler herder weapon. I say herder. Right. There you go. There's your little historical lesson. Prepare to learn some more. Anyway, I'm victorious, and I put my ship into a friendly port. Here we are at St. Augustine. Over here is the merchant, where you can buy and sell goods. There's a whole lot of different factors and intricacies in this game. Ports have varying buy and sell rates. Colonies will improve if you trade with them more. So that prices, lower and raise, and different factors in the game can also affect prices too. I have no interest in trading. Here is the tavern. You can inform the tavern keeper of latest information. You can have people who ask to join you. I'm going to sign them up because sure, why the hell not? You might have travelers who offer to sell you information about various cities. And you'll always get some tavern news. England actually starts off at war with Spain? Huh. Maybe that was just a random occurrence of... I thought you had to wait for them to declare war. I mean, it totally makes sense that they start off at war with Spain, given their situation in the Spanish Main. It's been some time since I played. There's a gold mine at Gran Granada and Santiago, and Indians attacked Gran Granada. Indian attacks lower soldier counts, but the economic status of the township remains intact, so it will be easier for you to plunder it. And there are a few other things that can occur at taverns as well. You can have old pirates offer to sell you shit. Now, over here is the bank. This is where you go whenever you want to divide the plunder, perhaps retire, change the difficulty level, or, basically make the crew happy and then begin a new expedition. And here we have the governor's mansion. My dear Mr. Riva, we are at war with the Spanish. I charge you to seek out and destroy our enemy ships and towns. The governor introduces you to his daughter. She is being courted by Count de Douchebag, but she seems interested in you. Let's make pleasant conversation. There are different types of daughters you're going to meet in this game. You can eventually grow up to marry them, and they will provide different benefits for you pretty much at the end of the game. They affect your happiness depending upon who they are. Now, finally, over here we have the shipwright, where you can sell ships to him as well as buy and sell cannon. You cannot purchase ships from the shipwright. You have to claim those through naval warfare. We're starting off with two ships that I like, a bark and a pinnace. We will not be seeing my third favorite ship, which is actually my most favorite ship in the game, the sloop. The Dutch developed that later on, like in the 1600s, and we're not going to be seeing that, unfortunately. So we'll pretty much be rolling with a bark and a pinnace the entire game. Both are small ships. The pinnace is the smaller of the two. But both have high maneuverability, sail well, even into the wind. The pinnace can actually sail over shallow water, like going over shoals. I'll show this off later. The bark cannot, but it's still a decent ship. I'll be keeping both. Selling cannons, though, I'm not much for naval warfare. Not at the beginning of the game. Give me a little bit additional money. I'm more of a plow straight at the enemy ship and engage in fisticuffs kind of guy. Later on, as my skills deteriorate, you might see me engaging in more naval warfare. Perhaps even outright sinking some ships. So, sell those cannons there. Now let's see if I can remember how to... here we go. Here is the captain's cabin. Here's our crew. We have 84 crew. They are pleased with us right now. We have 30 tons of food, enough to last us 91 days. Over here is a ship's log that gives you basic information about what's going on in your life, as well as life abroad. A map of the Caribbean, which you can scroll around. You can notice that we're up here at the top in what would later become Florida, at the colony fort place of St. Augustine, which actually doesn't have a fort. Struggling economy, no gold of note, 150 soldiers and 600 citizens. As you visit colonies, your information about them can update. We don't have any info at all about Havana, for instance. As a matter of fact, we don't really have much info about anything. And we see here the only English colonies right now are at Nassau and Eleuthera, which don't actually have a governor. Neither does Grand Bahama or the Florida Keys. As I noted earlier, St. Augustine is the only non-Spanish colony. I'm just going to call them colonies, to have a governor. And the rest of this crap is all Spanish-held territory, of which I have no info. But I'll probably pick up some info later. Okie dokie. Now over here we have an overview of our personal status. We are a promising swashbuckler. 25 in fine health with 200 gold personally held. We have no titles with with anyone, except for the French, which we possess a letter of marque, which allows us the opportunity to serve as a privateer for them, and go murder the Spanish, which is what we're going to do. Also, as I commented in my one-shot video, man, my swashbuckler has an amazing dental plan. And I know he actually has 2 working eyes. He likes to pose. Sometimes, though. And there's an overview of the 10 great pirate quests, which hopefully we'll get around to completing. Saved game. We're actually going to go ahead and save the game there. You can only save game while in port. Although with this emulator, I may be using the magic of save states to save whenever I please. Finally, we have the option to leave the port, but I think I'll be saving that for next time. Consider this first video an introduction as well as a tutorial, an overview of what we're going to be doing. So, I'll see you all next time with Let's Get On With It, Pirates Gold. Bye.